How does anybody prepare to say goodbye to somebody that they love?
It's so easy to avoid pain in the face of death, but Jesus gives us another way.
My name is Stacy McLaren.
And I'm John Beeson.
And this is God in the Gray, a place where we have conversations about religion, culture, spirituality, and all of the areas that we find God in the gray spaces. We are real people in a church in Tucson, Arizona. We are at New Life Bible Fellowship, and we're so glad that you joined us. We hope that you will find hope and help in this episode. We do want to offer a trigger warning. We will be talking about death. So if you have little ears around, you might want to press pause and listen to this just a little bit later. We're so glad you joined us. Okay. So this has been a hard 2 weeks, personally. This is a very timely episode. I am preparing to say goodbye to my mom. She has pancreatic cancer and was diagnosed in late February, had surgery in early April, and now here we are. And it has gone much faster than we had anticipated. There's just been a lot of pitfalls in this journey. This isn't the first time I've had to say goodbye to somebody I love. In 2017, we lost our only son, our only child, to cancer. He had squamous cell carcinoma. He died at the age of 31. Actually just 9 days after his 31st birthday. So we've processed what it looks like to say goodbye to someone we love in very different arenas. With our son, maybe you've lost a child. It's against the nature of things, right? That's not supposed to be the way we do it. Parents are never supposed to say goodbye to their children that way. But with mom, it's a little bit different. Even though it's been rapid, there's a normative aspect to it in that this is the order of things. And so saying goodbye, while there's similarities, there's also big differences.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm so sorry. Grief, however it comes, is just so hard. Mm-hmm. And, we don't get a handbook on how to walk through grief, do we? Every loss is different, and yet there are also some principles that we can step into. And can we just be honest that our culture does a really poor job of training us. Even our Christian culture does a poor job of training us to walk through grief. And so that's the question for us. Like, you just have a wealth of experience. Like, how do we do that? What does it look like for us to say goodbye to those that we love in a way that honors God, that honors people, that walks through not avoiding pain, but also stepping into hope? How do we do that?
Yeah. So I would definitely agree with you. As culture, in our culture, we don't do it well. But sadly, in the church, we don't do it well. And that's really where we should actually be experts of what does it look like to grieve well? What does it look like to step into lament? One of the first things you see in a poorly done, facing grief is no emotions, or you try and gird yourself up and be like, I'm going to be strong and I'm going to be, because the stronger I can be and the more that I can do to control the situation, it'll be fine. If I show my emotions, I'm weak. Mm-hmm. I'm not having, in the church, it can come across in your heart of I'm not having enough faith. I don't have enough hope. What message am I sending to those who don't believe in Jesus yet? I have to be strong. And that is such a fallacy. Even Jesus himself wept and stepped into them. I mean, we see time after time from Old Testament to New, stepping into not just simple tears, deep grief and pain and lament. But again, like you said, culture says, run from pain.
There's even that lie that I'm gonna be strong for the person who's about to die.
Right.
Right? As though that's some sort of gift to not show them our emotion.
Right.
I'm going to be strong for the others around who are grieving so that I can protect them from my negative emotions. It is such a it's such a strange assumption that my negative emotions would have a negative impact on you, as opposed to actually that there's an invitation there.
Right.
Yeah. So we do. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I need to. You know, this is really hard, but I need to be strong for dad, or I need to be strong for mom, or I need to be strong for my son or daughter, and that's, boy, is that a trap, isn't that?
It is, because the reality is you can shove those feelings all the way down to your toes, but guess what? They're coming back, and usually with a bigger impact later on, because now you've let time go and you haven't been able to process it in the moment when God has invited this space for you to do that. And so now there's more stuff on top of it that you have to process through. Mm-hmm. So the other way we do this poorly is, as Christians, we over spiritualize it. Now, if you want to poke a bear, you tell a mom that her child has just passed, well, God must have needed him more than you did. Or, well, he's in a better place now. Well, let me just tell you, a mom that has just lost her kid is going to look you in the eye and say, no, the best place for him would have been in my arms, in his mom's arms. You're navigating that with someone who has gone through literally part of their body being ripped away from them, as far as a parent losing a child. And then it's like, oh, you know, again, they're in a far better place, or he must have needed them more than we needed them here. And, you know, God makes all things whole in their time. Yes, indeed. But this is not the time for trite statements. It's not the time to try and pull out a scripture passage and make it fit that scenario. The best thing we can do in those situations is not offer a scripture, but actually offer to sit down and just sit in the pain with them. And again, that means that we're actually having to be willing to step into pain instead of run from it.
Yeah. Job's friends are kind of a crash course in how not to do this, right? Job's going to be good. God's in control. Oh, and by the way, it's probably because of your sin that this happened, right? Like, I mean, yeah, absolutely. We can step into that over spiritualization. Let me talk about two other potential traps for us. One is just to avoid hard conversations. So, oh, you know, mom is near death. Well, let's not talk about any of the hard things, right? Like, let's not talk about those things that create a knot in my stomach. Let's not talk about the fact that, you know, she doesn't have a will. Let's not talk about the fact that there's brokenness. Oops. Pause.
Thought I had that on. Sorry.
Let's pick up on the hard conversations. The other trap that we can walk into is not having hard conversations. We think that by avoiding those hard conversations that we're honoring that person, you know. Well, let's not bring up the fact that there's no will, you know, at this moment. Let's not talk about the family rift. Let's not talk about that unforgiveness, the bitterness in my heart. And so we avoid hard conversations thinking that we're honoring that person, when in reality we're actually ducking things that God gives us this special window to step into and provide healing, and we avoid it. Second is the flip side of yours, which is under-spiritualizing, right? Well, you know, I don't 100% know where this person is spiritually, and so for this coworker or whatever, I'm going to try to honor them by avoiding conversations about God, by avoiding a request to pray, by avoiding singing a hymn together or something. No, actually, like these are the moments to step in. And so we can actually under-spiritualize as well. We think that we're trying to protect this person. Oftentimes it's in those contexts, it might be someone who's a friend or a little bit kind of further off in our circle. And so we don't know what kind of their spiritual life is. And we think that we're honoring them, when in reality, we're actually missing a massive opportunity.
Yeah. And I would say that what a gift it is for, I'll share personal experiences last week with mom. She's ready to go. Like, she's ready to go. She does not want to linger. But her question is, why am I here? Have I not done something I needed to do? Or did I do something that I shouldn't have done? And that's why he's keeping me here? And so there's a beautiful way to just even step into those conversations of, oh, no, I actually don't, like, God's not putting you through punishment here. There is a reason, and we don't know it. So let's actually step into this hard place that you don't want to be in, and let me remind you of the things that you need to hear. It is an honor to serve you in this position. It is an honor to wash your hair, to pray with you, to put lotion on your body, to love you in this place where it seems like all dignity has been taken from you. It is a gift to have these conversations with you and give that dignity back to you in ways that only you as a friend or a family member are able to do if you're willing to step in to those places. And the other hard conversation is just being able to say to them, it's okay to go. Because there is a physical holding on. And sometimes we have to have those conversations to say, we are going to be okay. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt like hell when you leave. And we're going to be okay. And again, those conversations of, you don't want that person to die and you not have asked, how do you want us to celebrate you? What do you want done with your body? Selfishly, there's a freedom in knowing that, because you don't have to panic when that's over. You know what you need to do. And when we have those hard conversations, it eases their mind, but it also eases ours as well. And it just opens the door for God to step in and move in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think of like those hard conversations. Think about Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. Think about how many hard conversations he has before he dies. On the cross, he looks down at his mom and his best friend, and he says, Mom, this is your new son. Mm-hmm. And John, this is your new mom. Like, wow, what a gift to them, right? To step in that moment and have that hard conversation. You look at him leading up to his death and him stepping in time and time again with the disciples. And I just think this is really a masterclass. If you want to go to, in the Gospel of John, John records this conversation that happens between the Last Supper and when he's in the Garden of Gethsemane. And as he's walking with his disciples, he's giving really his final instructions to them. And you look at him, the way in which he balances hardness in that conversation. Hey, look, like the world hated me, it's going to hate you. Mm. And then hope. I'm going to prepare a place for you. I'm going to send a helper, and it's going to be better that you have the helper. And like there's that temptation for us. We can stifle hope even in those moments, right?
Yeah.
We can stifle assurance. I think for some of us, if maybe you have a past in the evangelical world or whatever, sometimes we have done away with some of the more priestly responses. And actually, one of the gifts that we can step back into, because as an evangelical, I believe in Peter's words. Peter says that we are the priesthood of all believers. In other words, if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, you've been raised up to the position of priest. So we all act like priests. And one of the amazing things that priests get to do is they get to offer assurance of forgiveness. Now, we do so not because we're the ones with the power to offer forgiveness, but because when those words are spoken, we get to affirm it. I think one of the most beautiful things that I get to do as a pastor is stand with somebody at their bedside before they die. And I always ask this question: is there anything that you need to ask forgiveness for from God? Are there any relationships that you need to reconcile? And then as that person shares in that moment, I get to pray with them. And then I get to assure them, I get to be the voice of God over them. You are forgiven in Jesus Christ. And again, it's not because of my power. Anybody can offer those words. It's because of our assurance in Jesus Christ. You get to release them and have them step into that hope. And so sometimes I think our temptation, we avoid the hard conversations, but in avoiding the hard, we actually miss out on some of the sweetest moments that you can step into. Mm-hmm. I've talked to other saints at their bedsides before they die, and I ask that question, and then you'll just see a smile creep over their face. No, I am clean before the Lord, and there's nothing else I need to repent of. I want to step back even just into those hard conversations. Let me ask this question. In not bringing up that hurt that you have from that person who's dying, who are you serving? Right? Are you actually serving them, or are you serving yourself? In reality, you're serving neither of you. Put yourself on the other side, right? If this was my last day, and I was given one day to live, and my kids were to call me, would I want them to share some hurts that they hadn't shared with me? Would I want them to, no, be happy clappy and avoid those? No, absolutely. I would want to be able to say, I am so sorry. Mm-hmm. Will you forgive me? I would want to clear their hearts of that, and give them that freedom. You're stepping into hope by stepping into those conversations. As you, Stacy, you have so much personal experience with this. What were for you some of the moments that you remember, even especially maybe with your son PJ, that you remember that were like special moments that God met you in those days?
Worshiping with the family around his bed. Those were really sweet moments. Praying and being able to anoint his head as a mom. Mm-hmm. And then even, 31 is young. It's really young. And so watching his friends, being able to invite them into that moment, because he was in inpatient hospice, but being able to invite them in and watching them bring their guitars and their Xboxes and entering into his world at that moment to meet him where he was at, and just the sweetness of that fellowship. But then those one-on-one moments, and I can't speak for anybody else, but my one-on-one moments with him are obviously treasured in my heart. But to be able to say to him, I know I failed you in this certain area, and I'm so sorry. Please know I would do it differently, and yet I want you to go knowing that I apologize. And to have a lucid moment from him saying, I know, and it's okay. Don't rob yourself of those moments. I know there's a frenetic energy that you just want to fix it, especially as a parent. But man, when we try to do that, we speed past all of these little moments that we can have. And so if I could just say, there's probably a mom out there that's listening to this that maybe you just lost your child, or maybe you might in the future. None of us are guaranteed, right? And so enjoy every minute you have with every one of your family members. But man, if you are in that situation, tell them everything. Tell them everything. If you're the one you've maybe just gotten a diagnosis of cancer and you're watching your family process through all of this, tell them everything. What is the worst that's going to happen at this point? The freedom that comes from that, and really, I believe the restoration of relationships in that is huge. And I can say that because I've also experienced that forgiveness recently, being able to offer that to my mom and have those hard conversations. So there's beauty in the pain. So,
thank you, Stacy.
Yep. We know this is a hard conversation, and obviously we could do a couple more episodes on this. I anticipate truly saying goodbye to my mom within the next 5 to 7 days. And so I personally want to thank you for actually watching this episode. I think that it is, in many ways, God uses talking about death and our journeys as a way to heal. And so again, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Shoot us a direct message and we will get to them as soon as possible. And we want to encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss any episodes like this. We want to bring you good, solid, helpful content in the future, and we are here to answer any questions you have. We thank you for joining us.